Hey guys, it's Voter5829. Today I'm going to talk about um, points levels and the different types of games and like what you can expect to come from those points levels and how you should tactically prepare or what you should include in your lists at those point levels. All right. So as an introduction, points levels. Everybody knows that in Warhammer you have to agree with your opponent on how big of a game you want to play, and those are usually uh, and that decides on how much stuff you can bring into the game itself. Um, and so, some common points levels that I like mid-level point levels. I like sized. Some mid-sized point levels that I generally play at are anywhere between 1250 and 1850. Um, and 1250 is like right at the cusp of where people are starting to, at least for me in my meta, is where people are starting to get all the special stuff in their army and get branching out from their core, from the core of their army that they keep constant. Um, and so 1250 is like they're gonna have like one, maybe two kind of half-sized support units, um, and that's if they're thinking like I do. And so that's 1250, and it's not going to be that difficult. And so when you're building your own 1250, um, keep that in the back of your head that other people are going to have maybe one or two support units to their core, and that you need to spend your supporting units on figuring out ways to either take down their core faster or take out their supporting units so that your core can beat on their core, if that makes sense. The next common points level I play at is 1500. And 1500 is my personal favorite because you have your core, you have a better basis for your supporting units, but you don't have all the cheese and just the crap that kind of muddles up the game and doesn't make it fun. You don't have as powerful Decurions or Death Star, or as powerful Death Stars. You probably still do, um, but it's going to be a little bit more fun, at least for me, because at 1500 points, I feel at least I have a chance, um, because I know I'm bringing enough model mass, um, and I know they're not going to be as super powered as they want to be. You know, and so that's the thing to keep in mind at 1500 is that super duper top tier lists aren't going to be as optimized, so you can cash in on that and play with that against your opponent, so that you have a better chance of winning against them. And then comes 1750, which is my second favorite points level to play at, and that's because you have your core, you're all fleshed out with your supporting units, um, and you're still not going to be at full strength for all the cheese lists. But at that points level, at 250 points higher than 15, you're able to bring more fun stuff. You're able to bring out, like for me, I'm able to bring out my war buggies to support my storm boys, or I'm able to bring out a third squad of tank busters. It really helps you completely iron out the supporting units you brought in at 1500, and to upgrade your core just a little bit more, so that it runs even smoother. So the thing to keep in mind when you're running 1750 is build up your core first, then your specialists or your supporting. Bring your supporting up to what you would consider like 75% of their max, power output, then go back to your core, see if there's anything you could smooth out, and finally go back to your supporting elements and max those out with whatever points you have left. And then the final type, or the final level in mid-sized to large games is 1850, and this is where most tournaments, at least in America, set their bar at for your army cap, and this is where all the heavily optimized lists rear their heads. Where you have enough room to fit in absolutely everything you want without it being apocalypse, while still feeling kind of like a smaller game. And so at 1850, you want to just keep in your head that this is the point where lists are going to be really optimized. These are going to be the lists that people at local stores have been playing with and practicing with for months, maybe even a year or two, just constantly working out the kinks and making sure it's as optimized as they can as possible, so that they could take it to tournaments and whatnot. And so just keep in mind that this is going to be the point level where you're going to run into the hardest cheese ever, the sharpest cheddar, and all the Death Stars, Wraith Lords, or Wraith Knights, actually, all the Riptides, as far as I can see, is going to be at 1850 because they have the room and capacity in the points to do it. 1750 is a little too small for it, because upgrades need to be spent in that last 100 points to get up to 1850. And so that's it for like mid-sized lists. There's also 1,000 points and lower, and as a whole, between those points levels, you basically just want to try to go out for maxed out model count with a couple of maybe one or two models that are super tough, that can't be killed, and you want to spend that on your warlord and whatever. And that's just because at that point, at those smaller games, nobody has the firepower to take on a full horde before time runs out. And also at those levels, you're going to be wanting to be maxing out the core of your list. 1,000 points is about where I'd say your core is going to be mostly complete, if not just shy of it, with one really super small supporting element. And then with 2,000 points and above, the other end of the scale, that's just basically bring whatever the hell you want and let the dice decide who lives and dies. You're going to have your core, you're going to have supporting units out the wazoo, you're going to have redundant supporting units, you're going to have redundancies built into your core. It's just kind of a mess because there's so many points to deal with, and it just gets to be kind of overwhelming, at least for me, because there's so much to deal with and so many points to spend. It's just kind of too much, and that's at least my feelings on it. All right, guys, so that's those are my thoughts on different points levels and how you can plan for them, or at least little things to keep in the back of your head, so you're not getting completely steamrolled and taken by surprise. So I'm going to end this here, and thank you for listening. This has been Voided in 5829, signing off.